Calico.
So just let everybody in. Is Claudia joining?
Added a little line there, registration to
We're just missing Claudia.
There you go.
We're missing Tony.
I will get back to you shortly. Yes, sir. Sure. No problem. Administration is up front. I just got off the phone with Brian Grant. I'm sure that's what you're calling. So what I've got going is I've got a
Judge, I just reached out to Tony.
to see if she can leave me a regular administration form because Brian does not have a copy of that. Last week we had a meeting with Judge Rockhead. She specifically said if that one way another judge or attorney has to say to the magistrate to say, but if you get the email, that's actually works as well. I have one this morning.
There we go.
And said the form is posted.
Are you all ready?
Yes, sir.
This is, I think we have 4 cases.
Well, yeah, I don't know about that. But, I don't know what was the thing.
This is Abraham Sinisi Loco.
Yes, sir.
All right, I think there's 4 cases pending, and I have received and reviewed a copy of the mental health assessment. Did you want to call your client?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly.
All right, Mr. Coloco, would you raise your right hand and be sworn? You swear or affirm testimony about to give me the truth, the whole truth, nothing but truth, so help you God.
Swear.
Okay.
Judge, may I proceed?
Yes.
Mr. Coloco, would you please state your name for the record?
Abraham Sinisi Loco.
Okay. And Mr. Coloco, we are here today simply to discuss the mental health bond that we've requested in your cases. You understand we are not here to talk about the underlying offenses nor any of the facts alleged in the offenses. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you do not understand my questions, please ask me to clarify the question and don't guess, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Coloco, can you tell the judge what your current diagnosis is through LifePath Systems?
Schizophrenic and bipolar.
Okay. And are you currently receiving treatment at LifePath?
Yes, ma'am.
You receive a specific medication through LifePath. It's Sustenna and Cogentin. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that's a monthly injectable, correct?
Correct.
Apologize for the confusion.
And you received your last dose in January, is that right?
Correct.
And you've been compliant in receiving that medication through LifePath LPS, correct?
Correct.
However, while you're sitting in custody, you cannot receive that medication, can you?
No, no, ma'am.
And since our last discussion in a Zoom conference, were you able to start any kind of medication at the jail?
No, ma'am.
Have you requested to start medication in the jail?
Yes, ma'am.
And to this date, you still have not received any medication.
No, ma'am.
Your next injection is on or about February the 14th. Is that correct?
Correct.
Are you concerned that if you do not receive the medication for which you've been compliant in receiving, your mental health is going to deteriorate?
Correct.
Mr. Coloco, you also have extended family support to make sure you're getting to and from your appointments with LifePath. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I'm not sure if your mother is in the courtroom today or not. However, she is a support system for you. Is that correct?
Correct.
And part of your plan, your action plan, if you are released by the court, is to continue your services with LifePath. Is that right?
Correct.
And you have an apartment in McKinney at 1200 North Tennessee Street, apartment 6103 in McKinney, Texas. Is that correct?
Correct.
And your mother is a support and has been in contact with the mental health office.
Correct.
Mr. Coloco, if you continue to remain in detention, do you believe that you are going to be able to receive any of the services you're currently receiving at LifePath?
No, ma'am.
Are you willing to accept any and all treatment plans established by LifePath?
Correct.
Your Honor, I'll pass the witness at this time.
Any questions from the state?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Coloco. My name is Kate Harrison. I'm a prosecutor for the state of Texas, and I just have a few questions for you, okay?
All right.
How long have you been going and receiving treatment through LifePath? Was it just recently in January, or have you been going for a long time?
I've been going there for a long time.
Since about when have you been attending LifePath and receiving services through them?
Since April 30th of 2019.
Okay. And since April 30th of 2019, have you always been on the injectable, or have you ever been on a pill-based medication?
Always been on an injection.
Okay. Now you said you plan to live with your mother if you're released on a mental health bond. Is that right?
Correct.
Does your mother own a vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Would she be willing to transport you to and from treatment and all court appearances?
Correct.
What about a phone? You're going to have to be calling in and doing check-ins. Do you have access to a phone?
Yes, ma'am. I have a cell phone.
Okay. What does your mom do for a living? Is she going to be home to help you, or are you going to be at home alone most of the time?
She can be home. She can work from home. She's a registered nurse. She has her own business, Home Health and Beyond.
Okay. All right, I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Anything else?
No further questions, Your Honor. I rest as to the motion.
And does the state have anything else to offer?
State offers States Exhibit 1 and 2, the offense reports and the affidavit of probable cause.
Here they are. Any objection?
Hearsay, Your Honor.
No objections overruled. 1 and 2 are admitted for the purpose of this hearing only.
And the state will read in the defendant's criminal history.
Okay.
On January 28th of 2013, the defendant was arrested for assault causing bodily injury to a family member. On September 12th of 2013, he was found guilty of that offense and sentenced to 35 days confinement. On February 17th of 2013, the defendant was arrested for burglary of a habitation. On December 23rd of 2013, the defendant pled guilty to that offense and was placed on 5 years deferred adjudication probation. That probation was revoked And on September 29th of 2016, he was convicted and sentenced to 4 years confinement in the Department of Criminal Justice, Huntsville. On April 9th of 2013, the defendant was arrested for assault causing bodily injury. We do not have any court data for that offense. On May 26th of 2013, the defendant was arrested for disorderly conduct, discharge, display of a firearm. We don't have any court data on that. On December 3rd of 2013, the defendant was arrested for theft of property greater than or equal to $50, less than $500. And he was convicted of that offense and sentenced to 30 days jail. On September 26th of 2014, the defendant was arrested for theft of property less than $1,500 with 2 or more prior convictions. He was placed on 5 years deferred adjudication probation. That probation was then revoked. He was convicted of that offense and sentenced to 1 year confinement in the Department of Criminal Justice, Huntsville. On November 18th of 2014, the defendant was arrested for theft of property less than $1,500 with 2 or more prior convictions. He was placed on 5 years deferred adjudication probation. That, however, was revoked, and he was convicted and sentenced to 1 year confinement in the Department of Criminal Justice, Huntsville. On April 22nd of 2016, the defendant was arrested for criminal trespass. He was convicted of that offense, but I do not see a sentence on the history. On June 24th of 2016, the defendant was arrested for forgery of a government national instrument, money, or security. He was convicted of that offense and sentenced to 4 years confinement in the Department of Criminal Justice, Huntsville. At the same time as that offense, he was arrested for unlawful possession of a firearm involving family or household and was sentenced to 60 days confinement. And that concludes the reading of the criminal history. The state rests and closes.
Any argument?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. With regards to my client's services, he is not going to be able to receive the services that he himself has testified to. He's been receiving since 2019. He's been compliant and diligent with these services. Therefore, he will not be receiving the mental health treatment if he continues in confinement. The state has not been prepared for trial in any of these cases. We are going to ask that he be released on a mental health bond as to each case and follow any and all conditions set out by the bond requirements.
Your Honor, the state opposes his release on a mental health bond. As you heard in his criminal history, he does have a prior conviction for assault family violence. He also has several serious felonies in his history, including a burglary of a habitation. Now, when he's released, he is stealing guns and is a convicted felon. For these reasons, we oppose his release at this time.
Yeah, the criminal history is too much, and I'm going to deny bonds at this time. Good luck. Thank you all.
Thank you.